Hi, I'm Joe LaPorta, Republican candidate for State Senate here in the 12th District. I wanted to take a minute today to talk about the results of the special session that occurred yesterday, specifically two of the more controversial bills that were debated. The first bill I wanted to talk about was the expansion of absentee ballot access. This bill was brought forward so that concerns over getting COVID-19 was a valid reason to vote by absentee ballot in this November election. This bill passed with unanimous Republican support. There was an amendment put forward by Senator Rob Sampson to prevent the Secretary of State from mass mailing out absentee ballot applications for the November election, as was done for the August primary. This was put forward out of concerns that many residents were receiving absentee ballots in error, either people who no longer lived at that address, or in some cases, people who had left the state or had passed away. The thought was that this made the possibility for voter fraud to occur that much greater. Unfortunately, this amendment failed. But that was not the last time voter fraud was talked about. A senator from Bridgeport said that he intended, a Democrat senator no less, that he intended to vote against this bill because he felt his city had a culture of absentee ballot shenanigans. He indicated that at one point in time, when he had lost an election, he found that 60 votes were recorded to an empty lot. If you remember back in 2019 when the early voting bill was being debated, Senator Martin Looney said, "We can never really be sure where an absentee ballot is coming from." Those are some pretty concerning statements to hear from our lawmakers, and really calls into question the narrative that absentee ballot fraud is rare and statistically insignificant. Now, by far the more controversial of the two bills was the act concerning police accountability. This was a bad bill. It was rushed, it was politically motivated, and it should not have passed. My opponent, Senator Cohen, voted for this bill. But she was one of only 4 senators not to remark on the floor of the Senate to justify their vote. I'm very concerned that that vote was not in the best interest of the citizens of the 12th District, and I hope that this video serves as my evidence as to why. First, we have a process, a legislative process by which laws are made. Bills should be hashed out in committee. There should be a public hearing, so that way the public has a chance to weigh in on it. And issues and unintended consequences can be exposed before they become law. This bill did neither of those things. The public hearing was replaced with a listening session. Supporters of the bill were made aware of the listening session and registered for it before opponents could. Many opponents were boxed out of being able to testify because there was an unconstitutional time limit placed on the listening session. Whether you're for or against the provisions of this bill, that's not how we should be passing laws in this state. We should expect better out of our legislators. Now, the preeminent provision of this law that was discussed in the news was the issue of qualified immunity. There's only one other state that removed qualified immunity, and that's Colorado. But Colorado's bill places a limit on the damages a person can receive at $25,000. Connecticut's bill places no such limit. The possibility for expensive, frivolous lawsuits is great, and police officers or their departments are going to have to purchase liability insurance. Now, Senator George Logan asked supporters of the bill, how much will this cost? And while they had no answers, Senator Logan did. He found that on the low end, the prices he was quoted was around $30,000 per officer per year. In my town of Madison, for our police department, that's about $1 million out of the town budget. We'll have to make up for it in the form of property tax increases, which we know nobody wants, or cuts to necessary services or current services that we enjoy. Now, the bigger problem with this bill is the fact that many legislators knew there were problems with the bill, remarked that there were problems with the bill, and then still voted for it anyway. Senator Carla Leone of Stamford indicated that if we see mass police retirements or a lot of frivolous lawsuits come forward, we'll have to come back and fix the bill. I take exception to that approach to lawmaking. Between the time when this bill is passed and when a fix occurs, there are real police lives and livelihoods for officers and their families at stake. We should not be looking at frivolous lawsuits which could jeopardize their future as mere statistics. We should expect better out of our legislators. I ask everyone who's watching this video, please call Governor Lamont. Ask him to veto this bill. Email him. Contact your friends. It's our last line of defense. And I ask you for your support this November 3rd. Again, I'm Joe LaPorta. I'm running for State Senate in the 12th District. And thank you very much for your time today.